About it then. Thank you. Somebody uses more aperture right now. There we go, aperture. Letter new words today. Pretty happy. Thank you. Is that like the pupil in your eye?
Yeah, that's exactly how I got explained photography, so you know how to focus it.
So the more the pupil's open, the more battery it's using.
Yeah, and the darker it is, and you can get like slow exposure photos where you get like cool light stuff going on with there, and then super fast, you want really bright, like short aperture, short shutter speed, really crisp, quick photos.
Very clever. Thank you. Thank you. Makes perfect sense when you say it like that. Let's talk about assessment for the course, because I know you're all kind of nervous about it, and a couple great questions from my folks having last term. A lot of stuff hasn't changed, but some stuff has, based on evals. So one of the questions I asked my students last term was, should I keep the grading system exactly the way it is last term, or should we finagle it a little bit? And I threw some ideas out there, and once again, it was almost split 50-50. Which blows my, I told you guys, remember I told you guys last term, I said it's split 50-50. And you're like, I can't believe that, I can't believe that. And I told you, I'm like, I can't believe it either, but it happens every term. And it was almost inevitably split 50-50 again. But something made me, I did mix it up this term. So let's chit chat about what I'm talking about here. Okay, so assessment. I've got three, this has changed a little bit since last term. So even if you had me last term, this is going to be new for you. This is smidge new. A little smaller so it fits. So all the grading is coming from three sources, just like it did last term. Quizzes, projects, and exams. Okay, it's exactly the same as last term. But the quizzes are no longer completely optional. You've got to do at least 10 of them over the course of the term. Okay, you've got to do at least 10 over the course of the term. This is because roughly half the students said, I would do quizzes more if you made them mandatory. Okay, let's make them mandatory then.
How many quizzes were there last term?
15 to 20, I forget exactly how many. You've got, and you'll have even more this time around. But the thing is, pick 10 of them. You can do more just like you did last term. But you only have to do a minimum of 10 of them. Do as many as you want, including the one for Wednesday, which we'll come back to. JC, go.
Okay, so for last term we could do however many we wanted.
Yes.
And the more we did, the more possible that we got right out of it, the better our grade was. So since we have to do 10, if we add more to it, same what we do.
Exactly the same thing. It's just that you have to get that first 10 under your belt first, and then you can do as many more as you want. You'll have plenty of opportunities. We had, hang on, let me think real quick. I think there were 6 in-class quizzes you guys did. I've only got 7.
Part of the 10?
6. No, that can be part of the 10. That's what it says right there. Now, there's a lot of text up here. There's in-class and out-of-class quizzes. You're going to have at least one quiz posted every week. At least one. Right now, I've just got quiz due, quiz due, quiz due, quiz due, quiz due. I'll most likely put a second quiz up for this Wednesday, so you'll have 2 quizzes right there. So you see, you're going to be able to get these 10 quizzes extraordinarily rapidly. I would imagine before the course is half over, you'll have 10 quizzes under your belt.
Will you, when you send out progress reports, maybe
Yes.
halfway through be like, hey, just a heads up, you only have 4 of them, you should probably get with it?
I'll probably just keep saying it in class, honestly.
Okay.
I'll just keep verbally saying, dudes, get on this. That kind of thing. I mean, in most, I'm not saying dudes. I'll just keep reminding you, just stay on top of it. This is new for me too. But again, it's me trying to listen to the data. And the data, half the data said if you made quizzes mandatory, we'd do them more. Okay, well let's try that. Yes, in-class and out-of-class quizzes all add to 10. They're all quizzes. Just like last term, your in-class quizzes were quizzes just like the out-of-class quizzes were quizzes. So I'm not saying you have to do every quiz I post. I'm saying you've got to get 10 of them by the end of the term. And you're going to have more than enough opportunities. You can do every other one and get 10. See what I'm getting at there? So this is just me messing with that a little tiny bit. Mess with a little tiny bit. I also mess with the exams. We'll come back to that too. So that's the quizzes. That's the quizzes. What I say on there? They're on the schedule page and we turned on. Yeah, so you turn them in just like you did last term. You make little piles. Now, in all honesty, statistically speaking, most of you were doing all the quizzes anyway. Now, I look at the data. I had all the data in front of me, all the classes. Most of you were doing the lion's share. Most of you did more than 10 last term anyway. So I'm not changing anything for you. I'm just making the ones who were doing 2 and 3 of them do more. That's all. And I apologize. I don't want to make anybody do anything. But I'm trying to listen to the data and see where this leads us. Yeah, we'll see. You guys let me know at the end of the term when you do a recap. And I really want to get the people that had it last term and then this new way this term to see what the feel is. Okay? So that's quizzes. Homework I'm still not grading. I'm still not grading homework. I'm going to keep beefing up the videos online for homework, so you'll have more and more practice as far as going over that stuff. So the homework is basically just, we get done something in class, and then you've got extensions, just like, here's one more way, or 2 more ways, or 12 more ways of thinking about it. So the homework's going to be a self-guided, self-paced thing. Do as much of it, or as little bit as you want. You might never have to do homework. Okay, that's totally fine too. I'm not going to be grading you on it. We're not going to be going over it in class, unless there's some ridiculous question that you guys want to see done. But it's going to be its own kind of thing as far as that goes, which I heard again and again from people. I had some choices. I could make the homework mandatory, I could make the quizzes mandatory, I could make neither mandatory, or I could make one or the other. Or make them both mandatory, I guess. And, exactly. Homework just seemed like the one I shouldn't make mandatory, because you guys you're adults. You have to now. Do what you need to do. That's why the quizzes are the most attractive option to me anyway. Stacy.
I just wanted to say that for me, I didn't do the homework.
And it's okay.
At all.
That's okay. And you did just fine, didn't you?
I did do good, but I wish that I would have done the homework.
Thank you for that. And I put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into the homework. Because I know how much you can learn by doing, it's like when I watch my son making a fire. He learned how to use flint and steel with that flint and steel for Christmas when it was a little stocking present. Oh, it's totally right. Somebody walks around the house doing it. But watching him build a flint and steel fire, he's awesome at the throwing the spark into the tinder and kind of getting the tinder going. And then inevitably, he destroys the fire by piling a bunch of wood on top of it too quickly. Or starting it and walking away. Now that's the problem. The second problem is what I see students often do. They get it in class. We make sense in class. We watch the videos. Everything makes sense. And then you stop thinking about it. And then that damn forgetting curve kicks in. So that's why the homework is there. If you need a recap, go back and look at it again. Scratch the surface again. Look at it again. Please, Jane.
I was just thinking, I was bad about, like, the quizzes. I was freaked out about the way you had them before. Like, I knew that they would help me, but then if I did bad, I was worried. So actually, I think this is better because I'm still getting points if I turn them in.
You are. And here's the deal. I haven't worked this out yet. I do have a rainy day coupon situation going on here. I might add one more. I'll come back to that soon enough. 4 quizzes. So if you get a quiz that marries you, I'll have a rainy day coupon, let you drop that one or something. I'll figure that out. I haven't quite figured it out yet. But I'm also going to record quiz solutions every week. Video quiz solutions. That was a request a lot of folks had in the evals. They said it would be really helpful because, and I'm going to harbor my graders to get stuff back more quickly as well. But I'm going to have, as soon as you guys turn stuff in that Friday, I'll record quiz solutions and post them so you'll have those ready to go for you. So I'm not just making you do more quizzes, I'm adding stuff to the mix as well to make it more. I think it's going to work too, Jamie. I thought about this long and hard over the break. I think it's going to work better too. JC, go. Are you sure?
Yeah.
You're not sure?
No, I'm not sure.
Okay, well think about it if you want to kick it in, please.
So if you do all the quizzes?
Yes.
The 20 or whatever, is the extra points for extra credit?
The way it works, this is a great question about, who wants to field that question? The question is, if you do over the 10 quizzes, over the mandatory, are the other quizzes extra credit?
No, they're
Not technically, Michael, go.
You add 10 points to the numerator and the denominator.
Right, extra credit would be only adding points to the numerator. If you submit a quiz, you're allowing me to also add 10 points to the
So
denominator.
you can raise your average if you do well. Or you
And that's the point of them. That's the point. That's why I originally made them be optional, was because if you kick butt on them, they tend to pull your averages up. But people generally, again, do awesome on them. That's what I was seeing over and over again. On average, 10s. That's the modal score on these things. JC, no?
So what I'm thinking
Yes.
is for the quizzes, because you said you might drop one, like rainy day type thing.
Or just let you resubmit like you do on exams.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I think that would be better, just because I know when I'm writing down, like, oh, this is what my answer is, this is what I thought it was, and this is why I did it wrong. I really like that process.
Yes, and I think I might just throw one more of those coupons on 4 quizzes. Yeah, and I got, say that again.
But if you put up the solutions, then
That's okay.
Okay.
It's learning. I mean, it's still learning. If you this is that fine line of old education and new education. So JC's got a great point. Like if I put the solutions up, then you have the answer. But yes, how many of you have gone to Google to find an answer to something? Right? So what's the difference? I came to that realization sitting at my desk like 2 days before Christmas. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm thinking of this wrong. We use the internet to find resources and find answers. I mean, hell, I used it to fix my father-in-law's remote. I can't reprogram this damn thing. And there's the answer. Is that cheating? Sure. In a Queech case, let's cheat. That's the point, right? So yeah, I don't mind that at all, because you're learning. It's all about learning. It's not about regurgitation, it's about learning. It's not about fear. So it's part of the learning process. Cool? Good, thank you. And that's going to be the third. I'll fix that. Actually, I'm going to do it myself. I'll do that today when I go back to the office. And
the emails for the links for the YouTube videos.
yes! And somebody email me anyway, in case I forget to look at this piece of paper. Email you back. And while you're there, email me about the rated coupons too. Chance of all of us forgetting is basically 0. That's quizzes. And that's a small chunk of your overall grade. Projects. The projects are the same as they were last term. I haven't changed as far as how they go. They're out of class. They're already all posted. You may have seen them. Let's go back to the schedule page right quick.
They about the same length?
They are. One's extraordinarily short.
Just don't make them longer.
Shorter's fine. Actually, compared to 243, they're probably much shorter. Except the first one's probably about the same length. The second one's much shorter. The third one has very little in it, but a lot of processing.
Same setup?
Oh yeah, for sure. So here's the first one. So what you do is just click on, if you haven't had it before, you click on these bad boys, it's a document. It's a document. This one's formatted very strangely. I don't know what's going on with that.
I thought that off on the end.
It is. What the hell is that?
Guess we're not doing first project.
Say that again?
No first project for us.
No, that's weird.
Yay.
Especially because it's been sitting up there since last term. It looked fine then. 244, project number 1. Formatting. We'll go figure out what's going on with that. But anyway, let's go back and look at that again in all its unformatted form. So down here you'll see little point values, 2 points each, 3 points, and so forth and so on, 3 points. This doesn't look like a traditional math project because you have to read. And then all of these questions are asking you, in what way could the study be biased? Give me one way. The beautiful part of this is there's not one correct answer for some of these. There are multiple correct answers for some of these. So your job is to go in and find one of them. And that's the beauty of it. I know it drives some math students nuts because they want x to equal 2. But x can equal 1 through 10, including fractions in this case, as long as you can justify what your choices are. So you'll get used to, if you had it before, you're already used to this format. You're already used to how my projects look. But there's even less math in these than there was in 243, which is kind of hard to believe. Cool? Some of them have links that you have to follow outside of them. This one takes you out to a little sampling where you have to use your TI to generate some random numbers. You'll get the hang of it pretty quickly. So that's your first project. Your second one's down here. In week 6, the formatting looks exactly as piss poor. Something's going on.
What happens if you hit the minus button?
Oh, I did do that. I did. But it's still crappy.
What about zooming out?
That's what I was just doing. Oh, that's zooming in, wasn't it?
Yeah. Nope, still crap. Never
It's
mind.
still crap. This is
What
so
about the
weird.
buttons on the right-hand side, top right-hand side?
Say that again.
Buttons on the top right-hand side.
This?
Yes.
Nope.
Nope.
No.
Open it in a dedicated PDF reader, like in Adobe instead of just in
Whoa.
Firefox.
Page number is 110% before we get all sorts of
Oh, God.
top, middle.
That's what we were
Never
messing
mind.
with.
Sorry.
It's all good. I'll figure out what the hell's going on. I think my head's been a little bit. It's all good. I'll make it work. So anyway, the projects, let me explain the projects a little more to you. Go back to that page. The point of the projects is to do one of two things. Number one, it's topics that are not in your textbook, but should be. Like the third one that was just coming up right there, the third one's, remember the Deepwater Horizon explosion from 2010, Gulf of Mexico? Big oil platform exploded for 86 days, was pumping oil into the Gulf of Mexico. As soon as that happened, people started estimating how much oil was in the Gulf. And even 86 days later, people were estimating how much oil was in the Gulf. And by and large, they were idiotic estimates, because they weren't based on any kind of science or math or anything. It was just like, and then there was some number that popped out of the mouth, essentially. What that does is it approaches it scientifically. And the estimate you end up getting with this scientific approach is actually almost exactly what BP eventually admitted they released into the Gulf. Which is incredible when you think about it. But the thing is, the methods you use in that project aren't done in textbooks. But it's important. I heard there was an oil spill in Michigan a few years after BP. I never heard about it in the news. I have to go research it. Same methods can be applied to that. It's also the same method I use to help my cousin, Karen, who works in geriatric rehabilitation, work on a study where she was testing warm water immersion for rehabilitation of musculature groups in like 80-plus-year-old people. She had to use that method too because her sample size was so small. So it's the kind of stuff that is extraordinarily powerful and useful for many, many applications, but no textbook has it in there. That's one reason I like the project. So you guys saw it in 243 as well when you were doing the F9 stuff, which you'll do again in here. Those kinds of, that last project, the Bayesian project with the false positives and false negatives, textbooks don't teach that way. But it's amazing when I see students go, this makes perfect sense. I love hearing that. Because for years I heard people go, Bayesian analysis stuff is crap, because it didn't make sense. But if you go at that this way, it makes perfect sense. That's one way. One thing is the projects grabbing topics that either don't make sense or can be looked at in a different way. The remainder of the projects are just some things that are in textbooks, but I think they come at them just in a heavy-handed or kind of archaic way. So I've come up with new ways of looking at things that, well, I guess that ties into the base project as well from 243. New ways of looking at things that are going to make you understand it better. Your fourth project in this class is a case in point of that. Your second project is as well, a very short one, is a case study of that, where you use Excel to simulate something that you would otherwise have to simulate by calculus. So we won't use calculus, we'll use Excel
We're
instead.
still not directly tested on?
Nope, not at all, not at all. If anything, they're reinforcing topics, but you're never going to be tested on it. Cool? Good stuff so far? All right. Cool on projects? And they're 25 points a pop. There's 4 of them. That's 100 points a pop there. And last but not least are exams. And what I changed about this, there's actually a, oh, that's correct. I'm taking these completely out of class. You're not going to have an in-class component for exams anymore. This was the part that was split almost half and half down the middle like it is every term. And I decided, I'm going to try this and we're going to see how it goes. Because your out-of-class parts of your exam were phenomenal last term. And your in-class were too. But the angst and the agita I saw during the in-class assessments were driving me insane. So I figure we're going to try this and we're going to see what happens. And again, I'm going to want your guys' feedback after the class is over to see how they go. JC, go.
What about the final?
That is going to be, it's not going to be in class. There won't be a cumulative in-class final. We are going to do something that day. I have great ideas. I have to put them all together into one big thing to do though.
Let's play some check.
So are you only doing 2 exams this term?
Say that again.
Are you only doing 2 exams this term?
Because they're going to be out of class and you already have quizzes out of class and projects out of class, I think I pulled back one of those to see how 2 go versus 3. They're still worth 100 points a pop. So I'm not like upping the point value and upping the amount on 2. So it'll be like 2/3 of the exam material. What I'm trying to push, there's a research article I read about constant small assessment versus infrequent large assessment. And that's why this quiz thing is so appealing to me. The constantly assessing you guys, making you do 10 of them, so you're constantly staying on top of things. And then the exams every 5 weeks or so are just like a recap. But you're going to have plenty of time to get those done, just like you did on the out-of-class portions of 243. JC, go.
So is it going to be the equivalent of the out-of-class and the in-class?
Essentially, yes. Yeah, essentially. I'm not going to make
adding them together and we're taking them off.
Exactly. So imagine 243's exams from last term if the entire thing was out of class. Essentially the exact same thing.
Twice as long or more points in different places?
Well, I mean, whatever. Imagine last term.
Yeah.
Taking the out of class and the in class apart on the same document.
So just 5 more questions?
Essentially, yeah.
Okay.
Essentially. So I guess like double the length, double the points. Because each of the sections was 50 points last term.
Right.
Now the whole thing's 100. So. Yeah, so this was the idea. We're gonna try this, and I want to get your guys' feedback in the term to see what you think about it. It's interesting because the feedback I got, roughly half the people said, I would love to have all the assessments be out of class. And personally, that's my favorite idea. I've been trying that for years, but every time I did the evaluations, people would say, no, keep it the way it is, half in, half out. And this was half people said that, and half people said take it all out of class. But what tipped me over this time was that research article that I read. That was like a tipping point for me when it said if more important than these exams, it's just stupid calling it an exam for that matter, because it really isn't an exam anymore. It's getting away from that traditional sitting in class, no notes, no resources. I want you to use Google on these things. I want you to use the internet. I want you to YouTube things. I want you to work with each other on it. The beautiful thing is my colleagues say, how do you know they're not cheating? And I'm like, well, I'm reading their papers. The answers look different. I mean, they don't look like one person who's doing all the work and everybody else is copying. It looks like they're working independently and they're bouncing ideas off each other, which is kind of the way the world works. I mean, think about how often in your lives you have to sit in a room with no resources to accomplish a task.
Yeah.
And the more I think about that, I'm like, I can't justify doing this. I need to train you guys for the real world in some way. So I think this did a pretty good job of that. Tell me your name, and you had a question, I thought. Christian, you had a question.
Yeah, you said earlier, I think, you said they were resubmittable.
Yeah, there's rainy day points. We'll get to that when it's applicable. It's not applicable yet.
Oh.
So in other words, we'll get to it with the projects and the quizzes and the exams, and I promise you on that one. Yeah, there's partial resubmissions available. Like play it over, play it again kind of things. Partial, not the entire thing, but some of it. And we'll get back to that. Yeah, for sure. They exist. Please.
Just another helpful thing. I
Yes.
downloaded a free calculator.
Free calculator. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, I think so. Free graphing calculator.
Free graphic calculator.
And it has this thing where references are, and it has like algebra references.
It does,
It
yes.
gives you examples.
Beautiful. Anything statistical?
Not really.
It's still the unloved child of
I mean,
mathematics.
there's lots of really good.
It's like that weird cousin that lives in Nebraska. Statistics is
Everyone
Nebraska. I apologize, but it's like statistics is like that. It's just this weird. It's still as important as it is. It's still on the fringe of most math because most math is taught fairly traditionally. Thank you. We'll keep looking. We'll keep looking. We'll find some stuff. Assessment makes sense. Yeah. Good. Good. We're gonna keep on top of you guys about this as far as when things are due. Oh, as far as those exams, I think one's due in week 5. Yep, there it is right there. This will be hyperlinked by week 3, just like it was last term. So you'll have a hyperlink up, and I'll remind you guys in class when things get hyperlinked. You'll know when things are. And then the last one is due, I think, down here in week, exam week. So you'll bring that to class that last day. Cool. Work with each other. Use resources. That kind of stuff. Make sense? Good so far? All right, back out of here. Grading, as far as grading goes, we already hinted at this when you guys were talking about, Michael, when you were explaining quizzes. Basically, to figure out your grade, just add up all the points you've got and divide it by how many you could have. That's essentially it. I gave you a little calculator at the bottom to help you out if you don't like doing arithmetic. So you just put in how many exams, how many quizzes, how many projects, and then you put in your scores at the bottom, and then out pops your overall average if you want to. I also send you a progress report every week with this stuff updated. So I don't think, did anybody use this last term? Kate, you did? Michael, you did? Cameron, you guys did? Sarah, you did?
Like for 2 years.
Back in the day when we had it before, yeah, exactly back in the day. But you know what, I mean, if you don't want to, it's helpful as a planning tool to kind of like see what you have to get a certain grade. That kind of comes in handy. But as far as what you're doing each week, you'll be getting a progress report every Friday from me, so
And
it's
it
probably
looks
not
basically
that.
just like that. It has like the
Exactly, and what you've done. And I'm going to try to touch the progress reports up this term so that you, instead of just saying quiz 1, quiz 2, blah, 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 it'll say what topic the quiz had on it. I'm going to try to figure out how to mail merge that in. Tell me your name again.
Debbie.
Debbie, thank you. Go ahead.
Do you do pluses and minuses?
Just pluses, not minuses.
Okay.
It helps you GPA that way.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you stick A pluses in there?
I can't.
I
It
know.
won't let me.
I know.
So, no, I just do B pluses, not B minus. Yeah, I just do. Yeah, and I think the way it breaks it down is if it's 87 and up, it's a B plus. 86 and down is a B, that kind of thing. Please.
Do you do Blackboard?
I don't do Blackboard. Thank you. I don't do Blackboard. You're never gonna find anything in there, and the reason is pretty simple. I don't like locking that stuff behind passwords. I get, as I've said, I mentioned earlier that kid who said his teacher always sends them to my YouTube account to learn stuff. I love that as an educator. I'm an educational socialist. I love sharing that stuff. And I can't share in Blackboard because it makes people use passwords. I got this great email from a French guy with a comment in French. I think I told you guys about this, did I? Yeah, it's beautiful. I mean, you can't find that stuff in Blackboard. So that's why I send the progress reports out to you. That way you'll know what you're doing. You can always calculate your own grade, or wait till Friday and you'll get something from me. Cool, or Monday, depending on when they get stuff back from Amber. Cool? Other questions? Peace. Please. Oh, no, clear. All right, let's back out of here. So rules hints. I restructured this one. Because I had to because of the assessment, the new assessment rules. There's a bit to read. Rather than read it all to you now, that's what the quiz is for Wednesday. So the quiz for Wednesday is a little true-false. Again, formatted. This is weird. I'm going to try that PDF thing you guys are talking about. There's something strange that also shouldn't have 2 pages. But anyway, the quiz for Wednesday is a true-false quiz. You will eventually see the word false when I get the formatting fixed. What the hell's going on? But there's a true-false quiz. It's a series of statements. All of these statements can be answered true or false by going to the page which is called Rules and Hints, which is this one right here. So if you pop back out here and go to this page, all of the stuff in here answers those questions. Just like it did last term, but some of the questions have changed because I had to change some of the phrasing because of the new assessment strategies. So that's what the quiz is for Wednesday. I might also slap another quiz up for Wednesday, maybe a 243 review quiz or something like that. Or I might make that wait until next week. We'll see. No, don't do it next week. Wait until next week? No. Freaking me out, Stacey. But anyway, I have some review quizzes planned for you guys. I've got a normal distribution review quiz. I've got a central limit theorem review quiz. I might wait off on those a little bit. Little things like that. You'll have more than enough opportunities to pick up 10 quizzes. I can promise you that. Okay?
Now, what's the new students who don't have all of your lovely formulas? The programs?
Oh, I will share them. And when they're necessary, I'll share them. And it's going to be necessary pretty quickly, I would say, either Wednesday or Monday of next week. Yeah, I have written a bunch of those, and you'll have, yeah, and some people have lost them, too. They've changed their batteries, and the formulas have been removed. Exactly. We'll get it back to you guys. It's not a problem. Not a problem.
Just before you put the quiz up, would probably be helpful.
Just, oh, well, the thing is, if they didn't have me for 243, they do it different ways. Like all the bell curve stuff, they do it a different way than I taught you guys. So, I see what you're.
There's a different way to do things.
I'm good with your way, just saying.
How un-American is that?
Don't change it.
Do it this way. Enrichment, this is a page you might never go to. It's the same enrichment page that you guys had in 243 as far as why formulas are the way they are, why things behave the way they behave. It's kind of like the deeper look at things. I'm not sure if anybody ever used this page. You don't have to. This is really a place where I dump stuff when I go in and like I want to know why Powerball worked. I want to know, when we look at Powerball, the game Powerball from a probabilistic point of view, it's nowhere near as heinous as you might think it is. Like actually, on average, you make money if the jackpot gets big enough. On average. The problem is you have to buy tens of thousands of tickets to see any kind of return, and then you have to deal with taxes, which eradicates the positive average, but purely mathematically speaking, if you ignore all that stuff like taxes, it's actually a positive return on investment. That's the kind of crap I put on this page. It's interesting to me anyway, as a math geek. I love this kind of stuff, but you might never go here. JC, go!
I just pulled up the quiz and it's fine.
It's fine on yours?
It might just be the phone.
I'm guessing it's whatever this is. Did you open it in Firefox like I did too?
No.
Or did you put it in a PDF reader?
I don't know what it is. I just opened it.
I don't know, Sean. I'm asking questions. This is the first time I've ever seen the formatting do this, so I'm thinking it's just some kind of a goofy little flippy thing. So thank you, appreciate that. I'll take a look at my computer at the office and we'll see. This could just be a flip machine thing. Cool so far? Makes sense? Outcomes, this is just simply what we're doing in the course. Poorly formatted. Some of you might need this for when you transfer. If the school wants to know what you took as far as stat goes, this is where those 243 and 244 outcomes are. And this is the lawyer talk that we have to have on here. So that's that. That's our syllabus. Makes sense. The biggest thing, I knew it was going to freak you guys out when I said I want to make 10 quizzes mandatory. I knew that was going to, especially because you're used to last term when none of the quizzes were mandatory. Don't worry. I'm going to have even more available to you this term than I had last term. I mean, I had close to 20 available last term. We probably have close to 30 available this term, which means you do not have to do every single one of them. If there's one that you just can't figure out how to do, you still won't have to do it. It's not like I'm forcing you to do every single one. If I only had 10 quizzes, A, I'd be a bastard, and B, you would have to do every single one. But it will be just like it was last. The point of last term's optional quizzes were, if you couldn't get one done by class, you could just not do it. Guess what? That still applies this term. just keep in the back of your mind this running total of I gotta get 10 in. You might want to come out of the gate firing fast. Do this first one, this website quiz. For God's sake, that's one of them. Right? Knock that one out. Not even a math quiz. Yeah? Make sense? I thought I saw a hand go up. I could be wrong. Lauren.
Do you remember back in the day you did like the start of the day?
I did! It's still there. Yes, Lauren, thank you. There are little tiny extra credit opportunity things floating around. You'll see a lot of them. Well, you saw a lot of them last term on your assessments. Like 3 extra points, 2 extra
I
points.
bet you meant hidden and
Well, this one is hidden. Lauren just brought it up though. Thank you. So you'll see little extra credit opportunities on assessments sometimes, like for 3 extra points, for 4 extra points, for 1 extra point. And you can do those by all means again. Those are true extra credit. Those are ones you'd add in just to your numerator, not your denominator. So if you're calculating your grade using my little, what's it called? Just add those points into a quiz or something if you get extra credit points. But there is a stat of the day blog. It's kind of misnamed. It's not really a stat of the day anymore. It's more like a stat of whenever I find something and find time to type it up and post it online blog. But that doesn't have the same ring to it. What you have on this blog is just when I find, hopefully it loads, yes. What you have is you've got just, whenever I read something in the news, or I'm playing a game of chance with my son, or something, and I'm like, man, that's cool. That's something that my 243s or 244s could analyze. Stace?
That's cool, let's make a deal thing.
Exactly. And basically what it is it's just a brief introduction, a brief introduction. Here's some stuff that was posted on the board recently, some great little stat problems. Why did the chicken attend the HOA meeting? This is a great one. I love this one. This was like a meeting I sat in and it got to use statistics on people. And once again, I got these looks like, what the hell are you talking about? I'm speaking perfectly good English statistics. And I confused the hell out of all of them. Unfortunately, I haven't been keeping this as up to date as I would have liked. I know, damn life being busy. But I will post this. There are archives out the wazoo on this though. There are archives down here if you go to the bottom of this page, just out the wazoo. Oh, this is a great one. This was a class I take called Total Fit, where I got hit with an errant rugby kick, approximating the chance of that happening. Just running down the field and somebody booting a kick, not looking at me, and the ball hitting me in the back, hit me in the feet actually, and made me do a cartwheel forward. And the first thing I thought of was, how unlikely. Am I okay? Did I break an arm? Did I break a leg? So anyway, all kinds of stuff and all kinds of archives down here that you can launch into. These are pure extra credit, purely extra credit should you want to do them. This is how, if you choose to go down this route, by all means check out this guy right here, what this blog is and how it works. Pure extra credit though, if you want to. It depends on how much you do. I mean, that's what it explains to you up here. So take the time if you want to read it, by all means.
You didn't say that last term.
What's that?
You didn't mention that last
I did just like.
No, I had no idea about
Our class.
Well, there it is now.
You wonder why you never got any of them.
No, I didn't because I never posted it. I never really posted anything to it. I just let it go. So, anyway, there it is.
No one knew.
No, it's not. No, our class knew we started doing stuff.
Oh, we did.
All right, Brandon, would you like to turn the light back on? Thanks, sir. So that's the class. So I figured we got about 20.